Happy Halloween, you!
Happy Halloween, Dan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am very well. I'm feeling very festive during this creepy Halloween season.
Odd, actually, because festive's the next thing. But
that is
spooky.
Yes.
I'm feeling very spooky.
Very eerie and spooky, and it's just all round a real good. I feel like an American like this Halloween because they are so passionate.
I've just hatched a really good idea, Tommy.
What's that?
Could you go over there and flick that light switch for us, please?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, let's just have a look.
What's going on, Marty?
Whoa, Doc, this is heavy, man. This is so heavy.
We've gone back to 1985.
Holy cow, this is crazy.
The only difference is we've got high definition now.
Or should I say, this is heavy, Doc. This is so heavy.
I'm trying to think of another quote. I can't.
Great Scott!
Great Scott! It's not 1985 anymore. We're in the future, Marty.
I've got to say, that hair looks very dashing on you.
You just wait till you have kids. Something's going to be wrong with your kids. Anyway, that's better.
Oh, yeah.
Very Halloweeny and spooky.
That's the nice surprise we've got in store for the audience.
We would actually have the lights off throughout.
Just for the atmosphere?
But with the amount of hundreds of pounds you spent on these great costumes,
I figured we have
can't
to.
be done.
If we're recording this on Halloween night, we need to go in style.
And also as well, my Scooby,
Exactly.
I went Scooby Threads today.
That's a double whammy. You know, you've got a bit of Scooby Doo and a bit of Back to the Future going on. That's awesome.
It's deliberate. They've got to get it done at wardrobe. So Tommy, obviously we've missed out on quite a lot that's happened this month in October.
We have, yeah.
So your job is to reel through the reviews before this thing itches. So,
yes. Yeah. Okay.
What have you got for us?
Right, so movie one. We're actually going to talk about it freestyle. It's a film that you recommended we talk about. I haven't actually written a review for it. I know what I'm going to rate it, but we'll just be talking about it freehand. Okay?
Right. Yep.
So we're going to kick this off in pure Halloween style. We're going to talk about Hocus Pocus from 1993. It's a Disney film, a Disney live-action film.
Yep. It's a film I've only just really seen.
I grew up watching it. It's my favourite Halloween-esque film to watch.
Nice.
It's family friendly.
I can see why now.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a bit of everything in it. It's got funny. It's got a bit of creepy. There's a lot of creepiness in it, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah. When you break it down.
Yeah. I mean, like the whole, witches, eating the lives of children and all that, and it's quite scary stuff.
It's very. I thought throughout watching it, it's very similar to the book The Witches by Roald Dahl. I don't know if you read the book.
Oh yeah, I've read the book and I've seen the film.
I haven't seen the film.
Dude, don't watch the film.
Okay.
It's not because it's bad. It's just because it's creepy.
Okay.
Like it's so creepy. Like.
I'll stick with the book. That's creepy enough.
Yeah.
It's a good book, actually.
I think the idea of witches as a whole is always creepy. Like you look back to like old fairy tales, like Hansel and Gretel, and like they end up going into the house with the witch, and then the witch tries to eat them.
I mean, people ask me all the time, what's going on behind that curtain behind you?
Well, with a haircut like that, I think you could enter into a witch's coven, no problem, Dan.
Come and see me over the weekend. So, basically, Hocus Pocus. Obviously, you've originally turned up saying, "Oh yeah, what a review Hocus Pocus 2." I haven't seen it yet.
I know, yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
that's what I'm gonna do straight after this.
I honestly think Hocus Pocus 1 is a very original idea, and it's a genre bending film, really, because it's got a bit of horror and a bit of comedy to it. But it's a family-friendly film, ultimately. I
mean, my biggest gripe with it is obviously watching it in the present day. There is a lot of dated animation inside.
There is, yeah.
That is pretty much a given thing with films of that age.
Yeah.
But also, I just found it to be really. I'll be honest. I put it on expecting not to like it. I'm like, oh, Tommy goes on about this every year. I might as well watch it.
Well, for the first 15 minutes of the film, which is the prologue set in like the 1600s, you probably get an idea of, oh, okay, I get it. This is going to be like a history fantasy film. But then it goes into modern day. Well, 1993 modern day.
That caught my attention.
Yeah, and it's
big time.
It's certainly a film that I'd certainly want to sit, children in my family down for at Christmas time to show them. Because
Halloween time.
Again, for me, it was a film that I grew up watching religiously, and it's definitely my favourite Halloween film. Suck on that, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh God, no, horrible film. So basically, right, let's talk about this. So you've written a bit of a review for Hocus Pocus 2. I haven't seen it yet. You have. What did you make of it? Is it worth the hype?
I really don't want to dampen your spirits, Dan, because for me, Hocus Pocus 2 does not pack the same punch as the first film does.
Okay.
The first film has originality to it,
Yeah.
and all the characters they feel real. Well, not the witches, obviously. The witches are very big caricatures of themselves, aren't they? You know, like they're very comical. But the human characters, they're meant to be just real people. But in the new one, they're all caricatures. Is that the word that I'm trying to think of? Caricatures, where they're just like one-dimensional people. You know, that like, oh, he's the dumb one. Oh, she's the smart one.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas with the originals, the humans in the originals, they were just normal kids, weren't they? You know,
and there's a lot of depth and I suppose in child characters, you don't think of the depth and the characteristics and how.
Well, no,
you don't go deep into the character, but what you do instead is you go deep into the potential of that character and what that character can become.
Well,
like the actions that character defines them, sort of thing.
The problem is you have Danny, who's the little girl. She's what 8, I think.
7 or 8, yeah.
7 or 8. Because I think Mary, when she's smelling her out,
mentions it, yeah.
Yeah, she mentions her age. But she's obviously going to be the fun kind of character. But she turns out to be also a really good hero for the film, alongside Max and Allison, who are like in their late teens.
But again, I love the fact that there is a co-story with that.
Yeah. And I like
well,
that there isn't like a resolution at the end, like they shack up and they kiss at the end or anything. Nothing like that, because by the end of the film, it's not about that. It's about Thackeray Binks, isn't it, and the journey that he goes on.
Yeah.
And the fact that his chapter. That's another thing the second one doesn't have. The sequel doesn't have any heart to it.
Yeah.
And I'm very sorry to dampen your spirits on that, Dan, but do let me know what you think once you see the
second. No, that I will send you a text message. I'll give you a star review.
Yeah.
Speaking of star reviews, I'm gonna want your star reviews for 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
I'm only gonna give you a star review for 1, obviously, because I haven't seen the second one.
Okay, so for Hocus Pocus 1, I'm gonna give a 3.5 out of 5.
You're not.
No, it's my favourite Halloween film, but there are a couple of gripes to it. It's not a perfect film. But it's just an innocent film.
I'm going to go on the basis of the fact that you can watch it with your family. It's perfectly safe. Okay, there might be a few religious reasons to want to avoid it, particularly around witchcraft and the constant phrasing of you're likely to have a child ask what a virgin is, but let's put it that way. It's quite an easy film. It's, again, as you say, it's an original. For me, it's a 4-star.
Oh,
so
wow.
Not that
that's
far
commendable.
Away from you.
And I'm very sorry. I just had an out-of-body experience where I just looked across the screen and I saw your camera with you wearing that wig from the side, and I just I had a little burst of laughter in me. I apologise.
I'm so glad these are the only 2 cameras we have.
Of course.
I would not be very happy. Okay, Hocus Pocus 2.
Hocus Pocus 2 gets a very generous 2 stars out of 5.
Ooh.
That one is much worse. To be fair, I'm considering lowering it because it is so much worse than how decent the first film is.
So you wouldn't watch it again then?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Right, that to me is a big...
I do have a full review for it, but I can't say that for spoiler reasons. That's why we're not talking about it at the moment.
Sorry, everyone.
But I do want your opinions.
Oh, you're getting it.
Afterwards.
You are getting it.
Yeah.
Okay, well...
Moving on to movie number 2, I guess.
Movie number 2.
Yeah. So we're now going to talk about a film that 2 very close friends of mine sat me down for, one being producer man Steve.
Ah, yes.
He sat me down... this is about a month ago. He sat me down for this psychological comedy horror thriller survival film called The Lighthouse. This came out in 2019, so it's quite recent.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
But it is in black and white.
Right.
This is a film that needs to be watched in the dark with 0 colour in your surroundings, just so you can be brought into the dank black and white atmosphere of this very well made odd film.
I don't like it.
Because that's exactly what we did. We like they came around for a movie evening. We all just turned the lights off in the living room and we just watched The Lighthouse, man, and it added to the atmosphere.
Well, as of right now, a lot of people are going to have the lights off anyway.
Pretty much, yeah. Going forward. The story of the film revolves around two lighthouse keepers: the older, seafarer oddball Thomas Wake, and the younger, labouring, man of few words Ephraim Winslow. The fun of the film began for me when trying to figure out which one of the two was the crazy one, as both give evidence to such throughout the film on many occasions that they've both got quite screw loose. Winslow is physically the more capable one when it comes to work, so he is given all the awful jobs to do, like throwing away human waste and unclogging drains, which seems to take its toll on him. He vents his frustration via intense. Intense pleasuring of himself and animalistic screams in the process. Cover your ears, children.
I like the fact that you go to the side
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
360-degree mic to ask me quietly.
I should have at least put my hand over it before I said.
For the record, you are allowed to say that, but I'm glad you did.
Okay, good.
Well, you
good.
did. Yeah. Okay, right.
Okay, moving on.
Swiftly.
So Wake is clearly, who is the older sailor, he's clearly a man with an eventfully traumatic life behind him, which has left him a very bitter and eccentric individual. He is crazily hooked and mysterious about the light at the top of the lighthouse, and has violent, unwanted outbursts / mood swings. I did like the irony that at the beginning of the film, Wake is the talkative one, wanting to make conversation with Winslow at the dinner table, but Winslow is not responding much. Then later on in the film, Winslow becomes quite talkative, as his eagerness to understand the light causes him to harass Wake about it constantly, whilst he remains quiet and reserved. So that you have a role reversal throughout the film.
Right.
Yeah. So the talkative one becomes the quiet one. The quiet one becomes the talkative one. So there's a lot of dynamic there. Right. The mystery, character dynamic, and setting all adds to the overall atmosphere of the film, which is easily the film's greatest attribute. The cinematography and direction of the film receives high praise too for the difficult setting / harsh weather conditions the filmmakers must have had to deal with. The long lingering shots of Winslow slowly losing his marbles in a gull-infested, isolated wasteland is quite tragically stunning to see on screen, surprisingly. So it's kind of like you want to look away, but you can't. The seafarer myths, curses, and intense dream sequences all add to the atmosphere mentioned above as well. I'm not big on my knowledge of that kind of mythology, but it is clear that Robert Eggers, the director, is, and he uses it poetically quite well. The runtime is great too, as horror, comedy, survival, mystery. That's pretty much.
That's a category for you.
It's another genre bender film, because it's literally horror, comedy, survival, mystery, all of that, and it's just a film about these two people on an island. And it would get a bit draggish if it stepped over the 2 hour mark or so, but in 1 hour and 50 minutes long, so it's quite a short film. 1 hour and 50 minutes, so it's less than 2 hours. There is the right amount of time to entertain us during the film and leave us wanting more afterwards. So to close, two friends of mine sat me down to watch this around my house in the dark at around 8 o'clock on a Saturday evening. Not much was said from me during the whole runtime, as I just wanted to take it all in, and the vibe of my surroundings only assisted in my immersion. Kudos to this film for defying a genre specification. Some call it a horror, some call it a comedy, some call it a survival film, etc. But ultimately, it has aspects of all of that thrown into it.
Some call it porno.
Of course, yeah, considering what I've just mentioned, yes. But it's all perfectly balanced. And then I finished it with with an old seafarer quote that Thomas Wake says during the film. He says, "Boredom makes men to villains," which basically means if you're bored and you're losing your mind, you're going to turn bad. Basically, that's what I get from that. But it's a very psychological film. But on that note, Dan, I really enjoyed this film.
On that note, I'm a villain.
And I don't think you would enjoy this film. It might not be up your alley.
Hell no!
But I gave this film 4.5 stars out of 5. It was really good. And the two friends who sat me down to watch it, they gave it 5 out of 5.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna
avoid that film.
I'm gonna just stick with Hocus Pocus, to be honest.
Well, moving on from that,
Yep.
we are going to a bit more of a light film. I think you might have seen Men in Black. Have you seen Men in Black? Nope.
No, I will
But you've heard of
confess.
it.
I will confess. It's one that I've watched half of.
Oh, okay.
Then
Okay.
I turned it off.
Really? Why?
I didn't enjoy it.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
this will be fun.
No, I think it's a shorter review than the other one. Actually, it's similar length.
Go on.
We'll whiz for it.
Slap it on.
Okay. So, The Men in Black from 1997.
Completely missed the joke there. So.
This film is the best film with Will
now.
Smith in it. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this film is definitely the best film with Will Smith in it, which is no huge brag, but its original feel, practical effects design, cast, and direction all work together to forge a real, fun sci-fi comedy. The film basically takes the buddy cop elements of Lethal Weapon and merges it with the sci-fi elements of something like The X-Files to deliver a film that feels very original and wholesome in its execution. Will Smith might play Will Smith in the movie like in the rest of his films, which I'm sure you get. I mean, yeah, and yeah, slap. And
yeah.
but he is good at playing Will Smith. I mean, he does a decent job at playing Will Smith, doesn't he?
I could do better.
Yeah. And his chemistry starring alongside the gruff senior Tommy Lee Jones is all right, I guess. You know, Tommy Lee Jones is the real star of the film. You know, he's a real gruff cop kind of guy. You know, much better. Who knew Tommy Lee Jones could be so funny? Because he's such a stern actor. I don't know if you've seen him in anything, but he was.
Yes, this film.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But he's so stern. But he's the one who's more enjoyable than Will Smith in the film, as far as I'm concerned.
I did this during the film. I picked it up, and I gave it a firm off.
Great Scott!
Oh, by the way, I went to the past to get this.
Yeah,
88 miles an hour.
Who uses TV remotes anymore?
Yeah, well, no, exactly. Just use I don't know the name of the smart speaker thing because we haven't gone there yet. 88 miles an hour.
When you get Barry Sonnenfeld directing a film like this, you know full well that it is going to be funny. Director Barry Sonnenfeld directed the two 90s family comedies, The Addams Family. Have you seen either of those?
I have.
Did you enjoy those at all?
I've only seen the first one, and I did.
I mean,
but
he proved himself as a comedy director.
I'll be honest. This is going to sound really weird, but I actually preferred the Addams Family Scooby-Doo crossover.
Oh, wow.
But
Go
I have
buy
to
your
say,
shirt, I don't blame you.
Christina Ricci was good in that.
Christina Ricci is amazing as Wednesday.
She's brilliant.
She is a scene stealer.
When it comes to Halloween-ish,
and they are doing a new one, aren't they? There's a new one coming out on Netflix.
I didn't know that.
They're doing a Wednesday series on Netflix, and Christina Ricci is going to cameo in it as a teacher.
Whenever there is a Halloween-themed film around, she's just perfect.
Casper, another thing she's in, which is great.
Obviously, which is your last day to get that for free from Sky.
Shout out to those. But when it gets to the sci-fi aspect of the film, the impressiveness is only upped as its use of practical effects, miniatures and prosthetics really does show that this film was made in the special effects golden age, where the three things mentioned above were used with confidence and respect. Some CGI effects might be a tad dated, as some ideas in this film were bold for 1997, but ultimately impossible to be reached due to its time. But that does not stop the final tracking shot of the film being totally awesome and impressive for its time. Men in Black was nominated for 3 Academy Awards and only won one of them, but it did win an Academy Award. It was nominated...
It didn't win any awards hosted by Chris Rock, did it?
It didn't. No, thank God it didn't, eh? Thank God.
Good.
It was nominated for Best Art Direction, but it lost to Titanic, as a lot of films did that year, because Titanic swept the Oscars. Best Makeup.
It sunk every other film.
Yeah.
I had to. I'm sorry.
Oh, dude.
Oh, sorry. That was bad. That was poor taste.
It won Best Makeup, and it was also nominated for Best Comedy Musical Score, but it lost to The Full Monty. Have you heard of The Full Monty?
Yes.
That's us, right? Are we doing that?
No, we ain't doing that.
I get it that Titanic sank most films that year, but I think The Full Monty winning over Danny Elfman's score is a tad harsh, as the film for this film is 100% Danny Elfman, with its beats and haunting wonder. Danny Elfman only got the job because he happened to stumble onto the set one day with Peter Jackson and met Vincent D'Onofrio in full Edgar prosthetics. Edgar's the villain of the film. He's like a cockroach alien, but in a human body, so he's like all like that kind of thing.
Right.
And Danny Elfman wanted a piece of the madness, and he just joined the film from there. Um, so to close, Men in Black is one of the best 90s sci-fi films made, as it had originality to its execution by playing the alien stuff for laughs. You know, if it's gonna be struggling to make it serious, just play it for laughs.
True.
And the cast are all having fun, being helmed by a great comedy director. You do get a decent, but not better, remix of Patrice Rushen's "Forget Me Not" song.
Yes, you do.
In the end credits, performed by Will Smith. But hey, it was the 90s. I can dig it. And that's how I ended it. On that note, Men in Black, 4 stars from me.
Wow.
4 stars. And then, which leads me to the last one.
I daren't give you stars because I turned it off with my remote from 2001 that you saw, which is where I went, and I took it back to 1985. It didn't work.
2001, dude.
Oh yeah, the old. That's when Sky Plus came. No, I think Sky Plus came out in 2003.
Now you'll have to forgive me. I'm just scrolling through to see if there's any other films that I can talk about that might get you a bit more involved. Maybe something that you've seen.
Back to the Future.
Did we talk about Casper on this channel?
No, we did not.
So we can talk about Casper again?
We can talk about whatever you want.
We can talk about Casper again. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about Casper. So, Casper, 1995. A film about Casper the Friendly Ghost should not have nearly as much depth and heart as this film does. But when you have Steven Spielberg produce it and James Horner score it, then it makes for quite a moving family film, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. What's not to like?
Casper is great, and it made you a PS1 game to play, didn't it?
No, we don't talk about the game. That's very, very hard. But I have to say, the film, in terms of animation and detail, no expense spared on it. It's obvious. The mansion, the backstory as well.
Yeah.
The father-daughter connection.
Co-story.
Yeah. So you've got that in the background, and then they go into the. Oh yeah.
I mean, I did right.
Great.
I said the title of the character, Casper, is the lonely ghost of a 12-year-old kid who longs for a friend. He lives in his mansion with his hilarious but neglectful 3 ghostly uncles.
Exists.
He exists, yes. He doesn't live, he exists. He lives with his 3 ghostly uncles and practically scares any humans who he tries to befriend. But when spiritual
Got a lot in common with you.
Yeah, I know, yeah. One day, I'll get there. I'll make a friend one day. I should have come as Casper, shouldn't I? I should have just put a cloak over, a white sheet over my head with 2 holes cut out for the eyes. Could have terrified you.
It would add to your looks.
It would, yeah, not necessarily a disadvantage. But when spiritual therapist Dr. Harvey, played by Bill Pullman, and his teenage daughter Kat, played by Christina Ricci,
Of course.
they move into the mansion at the request of scheming gold digger Carrigan Crittenden and her dim-witted lawyer Dibs, Eric Idle. You know, I mean, the guy, he's the Monty Python guy, so he's a British legend. Their hilarious antics then ensue, as well as quite a heartwarming story in the process. The film actually has a lot of emotional themes to it on grief and death and learning to move on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which is all stuff I never picked up on when I watched it as a kid. Sure, there are some silly cartoony moments, but it's a Casper movie, so you got to have that in there to appeal to children, right?
Absolutely.
That doesn't take away what is in this film for the more mature audience. James Horner, R.I.P., very great musical composer, no longer with us. He delivers a very touching score. The track, titled Casper's Lullaby, really pulls on your heartstrings, especially during the sequence where he remembers how he died decades before. The ghostly trio of the title character, Stretch, Fatso and Stinky.
Great names.
They have some, I mean, me, you and producer man Steve, which one's which, you know?
I know which one I use. Fatso.
But you can't be Stretch, you're not tall enough. So that makes you Stinky. And who's
You smelled me lately?
And who's Fatso? Is it me or him?
It's a great movie. I think it's got.
No, I guess I'm.
Can I give you my favourite part of the movie?
Yeah, of course you can.
I'm good. Okay, let's do a bit of improv, right? We'll do. You just read out the next line.
Okay.
Okay. Get a grave. There you go.
Oh, no, I couldn't actually recite the whole scene. What is it? Take a hike, windbag, and then she says piss off, and then he says take a hike, and she goes get a grave. It's just brilliant. And he goes drop dead and all that. That's great. It's great.
I just love the father's natural reaction is, yeah, go to school.
Yeah, go to school. It's
Go to
fine.
school, yeah.
He's so chill, isn't he?
Yeah, just go to school. This is perfectly fine.
I like how like the three uncles just befriend him, and they're like, let's go to a bar and let's hang out and get drunk and stuff. And he just gets drunk with three ghosts, and it's madness. The ghostly trio uncles of the type characters Stretch, Fatso, and Stinky have some quite hilarious lines, and the CGI effects for their morphing sequences are impressive enough for the time. The celebrity cameos during one particular morphing scene is a delight. When he, I believe, they all like possess. They all possess the dad, and he looks in the mirror and he turns into Mel Gibson. He turns into Rodney Dangerfield, who's an old comedian. But yeah, like he just morphs into the Crypt Keeper. It's just hilarious. The two villains in the film, portrayed by Kathy Moriarty, who was in Raging Bull, and Eric Idle, who's a famous Monty Python to all us British fans, they are a delight to watch as well. It's a nice change to see these two actors from esteemed backgrounds just having fun in a standard family movie. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
Because they've been in much more successful stuff than this, but it's just nice that they're just letting loose and just having fun.
Yeah. You need that in a way.
Yeah, you need that variety as an actor, I'm sure. Same goes for Bill Pullman, who has some great / disturbing bromance scenes with him and the ghostly trio. I mean, like they just get drunk and stuff, and yeah, they just start like kissing because they love each other, and it's just it's mad, totally madness. To close, there really is a lot of heart to be had in this film. The scenes between Casper and Christina Ricci's cat. Christina Ricci, isn't it? Sorry.
Yep.
Christina Ricci's cat have a lot of tragic emotion to them, especially during the last scene in the film, with a cheesy 90s ballad to see the movie finale out. Just watch it as a comfort film for its laughs, emotions, and nostalgia elements, and you'll have a worthwhile time.
It's a great one for Halloween as well.
Definitely. Plus, there are a few unexpected swear words here and there to make this different from other 90s family films, which
we've already touched upon one of those.
Yep, which tended to keep away from that. A lot of family films in the 90s, they tended to avoid that kind of thing. But
yeah.
Casper wasn't afraid. Casper went for it. And on that note, I'm going to give Casper 3.5 stars out of 5.
I'm giving it 4. It deserves 4.
You're a fan, ironically, just underneath that is my review for Shrek. But we've been there, haven't we? We've done Shrek.
We've been there.
So that's it for Halloween. So a 3-star film, a 4-star film, no, a 3-star film, a 4.5-star film, a 4-star film, and another 3.5-star film. So all generally watchable films through and through. I agree.
Love it.
I agree with myself. I know
you agree with yourself.
I agree with myself.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yes.
How's that?
I say that is elementary. Great Scott!
Hang on, that's my line. Great Scott!
Yeah, you don't want to take that off.
They don't.
Do you?
They don't suit you.
No.
I can't tell you how much I want to take it off. It's itching as hell. All that leaves me to say is.
Any comments?
Great Scott, Marty.
Any comments? Please comment on our costumes. Please comment on Dan's wig. I think he looks absolutely brilliant as Doc Brown. So yeah, give him all the props you can give him, because not everyone would go on live wearing such a costume. Would you agree?
My apologies to Christopher Lloyd watching this.
And shout out to Michael J. Fox, because
apologies
you're a
to
hero.
Michael J. No, absolute legends in the game. Which all that leaves me to say is, great Scott, Marty, we're running out of time.
Whoa,
we
Duff.
got to get back to 1985.
Duff, this is heavy. Do you want me to turn the light off?
But first, Marty, it's important. We must make sure that we do not mess with time. Which means you must like, comment, and subscribe at 88 miles an hour below.
Otherwise, this is just completely heavy, guys. This is heavy, dude. So you got to go on Letterboxd, and you've got to find Larkins 95, and you've got to follow all my reviews, because, honest to God, if not, you won't know what year it is.
Marty, you can't not reveal information about the future.
But why, Doc? Why?
It's bad luck.
Yeah, I know. I know. Nobody wants to know their own future. Nobody.
Only if it involves a lotto win. Well, anyway.
Good luck with that lotto win, by the way.
Thank you. I'm working on it. Yes, of course, as I was going to say it once again in my normal voice, like, comment, subscribe, all the rest of it. Letterboxd.
Larkins 95.
Oh, yeah. And you'll find him on there as well. Have a great and safe Halloween. What's next?
We have got a different theme, haven't we, for the different month? What is it?
Hang on. We gotta get in the time machine, Marty. We gotta get in the time machine to find out what's happening next month.
Okay. Do you want me to activate it?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Whoa! We're back to normal.
I've got nits. So
it turns out we're in November now. We time travelled to November.
Noisy November is where we've gone. So obviously, films that make you want to turn the sound off, put the subtitles on. I'm guessing.
Yeah. We'll be focusing on popcorn movies, action movies with big explosions, and Michael Bay movies as well, maybe. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And then after that,
well, according to the calendar here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 reviews until we go all Christmassy.
Yep.
That's madness!
And we've got to wear Christmas hats for every single one.
Yours is still there.
Yeah, from last year. But I've got another one. Don't worry. I'll bring another.
Well, mine's upstairs.
You've got one.
Mine's in the loft
good.
with the Christmas decorations.
Oh, good. Okay.
Because you may have not noticed it's not Christmas.
Of course. Hiding.
Basically, that's what we're doing there. Well, anyway, thank you at home for watching, and we look forward to being back with you real soon. Again, like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell thing on. Apparently that makes a difference. Tommy's over on Letterboxd.
Larkins 95, guys.
Go follow him in there, harass him, abuse him, whatever you want to do.
Feel free to do what you need to do.
Absolutely. And take care, and until next time, I'm Daniel Moore.
I'm Tom Larkins.
Catch you soon.
Happy Halloween.